Okay, welcome everybody. This is Nick Carlson with Blue Bar Digital, and today we're proud to have Mark Palumbo, who's the Director of Business Development with PanurgyOEM. How you doing, Mark?
Good, good. Thanks for having me, Nick.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So can you tell us a little bit about PanurgyOEM and who you are and what you guys do?
Sure, absolutely. So, Panergy OEM, we specialize in supporting electronics manufacturers, mainly consumer electronics, and we support them in depot repair work, reverse logistics, last mile manufacturing, and some assembly and production services as well.
Okay. All right, and you're definitely the you seem to be the digital spokesperson for Panergy OEM. It looks like you've made a lot of videos for Panergy, and I guess you're a real natural at it. How'd this all come about?
Well, I wouldn't say exactly I'm a natural, Nick.
Oh,
It's we've been doing it for like three or so years now, and it's definitely taken practice in developing the right content to produce, the right pitch to go about it. I'd say my first 30 or 40 videos were pretty rough as far as how they came out and the time
oh.
it took to make them. But as I kept doing it and got some more confidence in doing it, it's really been a good tool for us from a marketing perspective. So we get some good views and get a lot of just eyeballs on our company from that.
And do you rely on social media for people to see your videos, or what's the program there?
Sure. So we actually we have a YouTube channel. If you go on YouTube and you just type in Panergy OEM, you'll be able to get to our page where we have all of our videos laid out. And we usually share them on LinkedIn, Facebook, and a little bit on Twitter. So yeah, we're definitely out there in the social media world.
And now, are you really promoting multiple channels on social media, or do you focus on one or two?
Sure. So LinkedIn would be our biggest. That's where the base of my network is as far as
Hmm.
people I'm connected with and people I'm reaching out to. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can find all of our videos posted on our Panergy OEM LinkedIn page as well as my personal LinkedIn page.
Okay, and that's because you're primarily B2B,
Yes, that's
right?
correct.
That
That's
was the
correct, Nick.
choice, the thinking behind that. Yeah. Okay. Good. Good. All right. So, oh yeah. So, what's Mark's basement video series? What's that all about? I saw that on some of your videos.
Yeah, so that was something that we came up with here as I was working from home for about 2 months during the pandemic.
Hmm.
I still wanted to create content. I still wanted to get some messaging out there, and I thought it would be a fun way to kind of go about that and show. I was making videos in my little basement studio, if you
Yeah.
will. So I had the
Yeah.
help of my fiance with the recording and doing all that, and it kind of just hit home with a lot of people since everyone's been working from home. I thought people could relate to that, and it's got some good
Definitely.
feedback on it.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely good. So good, good that you had lucky to have an in-house production team ready
That's
and
right.
willing, huh?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
good.
about willing, but yeah, no,
Well,
he helped out.
that's good. Hey, so I read your blog and I saw the Jumpstart Your Business article. Can you tell me about that a little bit?
Sure. So the basis of that was we wanted to focus on companies that, well, everyone took a hit with the pandemic, and we wanted to focus on helping those companies, get back on their feet as quickly as possible, and even, boosting their operations. So as people were, some people were laid off, facilities were closed. Luckily, we at Panergy OEM, we stayed open as an essential business. So we feel we have all the tools and systems in place to help, kind of re-jumpstart your business back to where it was, and even make it better.
So specifically, when you say help jumpstart companies, I believe you're talking about companies that are primarily in the electronics business. Anybody with a circuit board,
Right.
manufacturers. Is that mostly manufacturers? Is that it?
Yeah, that's absolutely it, Nick. So, like you said, anyone with a circuit board, we can really help support and service their products that are being sold. Because oftentimes these manufacturing companies in the audio video world, broadcast, digital signage, projection, things like that, they focus on designing their products, selling their products, and marketing their products. But it's often forgotten the reverse logistics side of it, whereas maintaining the life cycle of those products and keeping them active while repairing them. So that's one thing that we try to help out with.
And reverse logistics typically includes what?
So reverse logistics would be, the opposite of forward logistics. So it would be once a product is sold to a customer, if they have problems with it, or it's dead on arrival, or a circuit board shorts out or something like that, and they need help, getting the product back on its feet, they could send that to us, and we handle the whole process that's involved. So we would have the product come back to our facility. Our techs would evaluate the product. They would find the failure or the fault within the product. And then we would go ahead and repair that product back to factory spec, testing it, running it through all the QC checkpoints, and get it back to a functional status.
Wouldn't it be easier just to replace the product with a new one?
Nick, that might be easier, but then you're leaving a lot of money on the table that these companies invest to manufacture these products. So that's another key point in which we help these companies, because they're saving money by not having to go out and remanufacture all of these products to send out new products to these customers.
Okay. All right. So there are a lot of consumer electronics companies out there. Are there specific industries that you focus on that you've had success in?
Yeah. So I would say our core group of industries is audio on the consumer and professional level, broadcast video, printer technologies, projection, and digital signage. One example is, we linked up with an audio manufacturer that was having a lot of problems with their current service provider, and they were experiencing turnaround times on repairs upwards of 2 weeks. So we were able to step in and kind of take over control of their service in North America, and we lowered that service turnaround time to an industry-leading 4 days, which they were very happy about. Their customers were very happy about, and they got a lot of great feedback on the customer satisfaction side.
Wow. And what do you do for that client? Just generic, without naming names, et cetera. What type of services do you offer for them?
Sure. So we, as you mentioned, reverse logistics earlier, we kind of handle the whole package of reverse logistics. So we service in and out of warranty products for them. Products that come back to us, we can turn them into B stock, which is kind of another side of reverse logistics. But it's all along the lines of repair, refurbishing, and holding the stock and inventory in-house. So when they need to ship it out somewhere, we're able to fulfill those shipments for them.
Okay. One of the things that I noticed on your website was the word elasticity, and I'm not sure I have a real good handle on what that means as far as PanurgyOEM. What does that mean?
Sure. So to start off, we have a very diverse portfolio of customers and partners that we work with. Some are on the very large end, and some are on the smaller side. But for us, that really doesn't make a difference, because, like you said, we have the elasticity in our workforce, where our techs are cross-trained across multiple products in different industries. So we have the ability, if a project takes off and we need to allocate more resources to that project, we have the ability to ramp up our workforce on that one project. Or, if it's a slow month, maybe not as many things are coming in for that customer, we're able to slow it down and assign less people to that. So that's kind of where the elasticity comes into play, and it really helps us, because it makes us a good value-added asset to that customer.
Yeah, I was reading another post on your website and was talking about the variable cost model. And so the way I understood that was a formula that kind of helped you figure out the cost of your reverse logistics program for your products. Can you talk about that a little bit more in more detail, please?
Sure, Nick. So like you said, the variable cost model, included in that is the reverse logistics cost equation. So what that is, it's basically taking all of the fixed costs that go into a repair, adds them up, and gives you the total cost of reverse logistics. And so working with a variable cost model and outsourcing that type of service, you almost pay a flat rate. So you only pay for the work that we perform. And there's no wasted money, and there's no wasted resources, as opposed to doing it in-house, where you might pay for a huge warehouse and you're not even using all the space, or you might have hired excess employees in a time where it was more busy, and now you're not using them to their full capabilities. So if you outsource to a company like PanurgyOEM, you only pay for the work that we're performing on a monthly basis.
Okay. So could be potentially a lot of capital savings too. You're not buying test
Absolutely.
equipment that you're only using for half the year or something like that, for example,
Absolutely, Nick. I mean, in
right?
our warehouse, we're fully functioning every day. We have those desks, those tools, those workspaces in place already, so you don't have to spend your own money on setting those things up and maintaining those. We already have those in place.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good. Another key solution that I've seen that Panergy delivers and is talked about frequently is data. And it looks like that's the data that's associated throughout the reverse logistics process. So maybe you can elaborate on that a little bit, Mark.
Yeah, sure thing. So data is huge. I mean, in 2020, everyone wants to see their data right in front of them, shown on graphs, charts, multiple different ways. For us, we like to think of it as a look into our warehouse. So whether you're, an hour or drive away or you're halfway across the world, the data really gives you a good look into what we're doing on a daily basis for your products. So what that data also does is it displays the statuses of all the inventory of products that we have in-house, whether they're awaiting parts, they're repaired, they're shipped, things like that. All that data is updated daily and sent out to our clients in a report. So it's a really good way to communicate and just keep things on the same page with them.
So do you have any examples of how like your clients, the manufacturers, have used data to improve their process or maybe reduce costs?
Yeah, sure. So, we consider ourselves the eyes and ears of these manufacturers because we're getting products back directly from the customers that are using them. So all this information we relay back to the manufacturers. And for one example, there was an amplifier that one model that we kept seeing coming back with a transistor that kept blowing off the main circuit board. So we were able to kind of find that within the returns and within the repairs that we were doing. And we reached out to the manufacturer and said, hey, you guys should take a look at this. It seems to be the common fault with this amplifier model that's coming back. And so with that information, they were able to go back to their manufacturing warehouse, change that design, and save costs and money going forward because they were selling a better product with a fixed transistor on it.
So changing a 35-cent transistor,
Exactly.
or
So
probably even less.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and for
Right.
customers buying the product, it's a great benefit because they don't have to scratch their head and say, oh, what did I do? Why did this break? And things like that. And we just want to keep customer satisfaction very high for all of the people out there using these products.
Well, yeah. I mean, they used to say 100 years ago, one happy client will tell 10 people and one unhappy client will tell 100. Nowadays, a couple of tweets or a written negative review
Yeah,
can be seen by a lot more than 100 people real quick, right?
yeah, that can really damage just a brand name out there with some bad reviews. So that's why we try to help mitigate that and not have that happen.
I mean, problems will happen. That's just how it is in business, but really it's how you deal with them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, something else I saw on your website that was really interesting was a video about last mile manufacturing and essentially how you were able to take 4 base SKUs and
Hmm.
turn them into, I think it was 24. Well, can you
Yes.
tell us about that?
Yeah. So that's another one of our core services, last mile manufacturing, and basically what that is, we work with a laptop manufacturer. And instead of having all of these different SKUs, these 24 SKUs produced in their factory overseas, really takes a lot of time to get those sales out. So what we do is we have 4 base models come to our facility, and then we configure and assemble them based on their sales orders. So what that does is it really cuts down the sales lead time from, let's say, 4 to 6 weeks to maybe a week, depending on the
Mhm.
volume of the sale. And for them, that's huge because that means they could sell more, they could sell faster, and they can sell all different SKUs instead of just focusing on one or two. So it's a really good value added service to our customers.
So it makes the supply chain far more sophisticated, right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
that's kind of like that. The other video I saw about the white paint, where instead of Home Depot having 1,000 different colors of paint, they have a bunch of white paint, and they uh, build the color on demand, basically, right?
Yeah, that's a analogy we like to use here, and like you
Yeah.
said, Home Depot is not selling 1,000 different colors because not everyone's going to buy those, and then some are going to get left on the shelves, and it's going to be wasted money towards creating that product. So for us, we think of whatever product it is, whatever SKU it might be, coming in as a can of white paint, and we could turn that white paint into any different color that their customer wants to buy, without having to waste money and production on
Warehouse space.
colors
Yeah.
and SKUs that are not
Yeah.
going to be sold. So it's yeah, the white paint is it's a great analogy to use.
Yeah. And I guess paint goes bad, and I know electronics become obsolete,
Yep,
right? So they've got, they're different, but they're kind of the same challenges, right?
absolutely,
Time is
absolutely.
a
The
killer.
longer something stays here or stays in a warehouse collecting dust and doesn't sell, the faster it depreciates, and it's just money, right down the drain. So we try to avoid that for them.
Yeah. So I know Panergy OEM was founded in the early 1980s. So, 40 years later, what do you see as how have you seen the company evolve, and what do you see as the future for Panergy OEM?
Yeah, so like you said, we're coming up on 40 years of doing business, and long before I was here, we were repairing disk drives and things like that. And now moving forward into 2020, we see ourselves definitely as a strategic partner within the supply chain. So we just want to shore things up. We want to tighten up the supply chain for our partners, and be there for whatever it may be. So like you said, depot repair, reverse logistics, last mile manufacturing, assembly, production, e-commerce fulfillment. We can really handle all of those things within the supply chain in one location, as opposed to working those things all over the country.
So clearly, repair, refurbishment, reverse logistics, huge part of your business.
Mm-hmm.
What other kind of things have you done for your clients?
Yeah, so besides our core services, we also have done special projects and one-off projects. And to give you one example, we worked with a very large electronics manufacturer who had a project for one of the major sports leagues in the U.S. And basically, they needed specialty builds for each of the stadiums, each of the 30 stadiums in the U.S. So they gave us the scope of work to look at, and they didn't have the warehouse space. They didn't have the technicians trained to get this all done in time, and it was on a very strict deadline. So what they did was they sent us all the products. We were able to match up all the builds that we needed to do, and we strategically shipped off each of these builds to 30 different stadiums around the U.S. And we were able to do it in time within the deadline, and they were very happy about that. So we do other things like one-off projects and things like that.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, that was a fun one for everyone here. Everyone enjoyed doing that just because it was involved with sports and things like that. So yeah, it was good.
Hmm. So, Mark, tell me a little bit more about Panergy, like where you guys located, your facility, et cetera.
Sure. So to start our facility, we have 100,000 square feet here, which is great, nice and spacious, and we're located in northern New Jersey in Rockaway, which is a very strategic location, 30 miles directly west of Manhattan, right along Route 80. I believe we're located within an hour of every major airport in the tri-state area, as well as the Port of Newark. So for shipping and receiving products, it's a great location.
All right, Mark. So, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you that want to talk to you about their business?
Sure. Well, you can go on our website, www.PanurgyOEM.com. You'll find my cell phone number right on there, so feel free to give me a call. Or if you're on LinkedIn, just hit a quick LinkedIn search and add me on there, and I'd love to chat.
Okay, Mark. Thanks. Really appreciate your time. Great hearing about you guys, and the best of luck to you.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. Take care.